All right, check it out. This is my adjustable shim jig, and it's pretty basic. So it starts out with this main top plate, right? It has a couple of elongated slots. You can see there, a couple of knobs. It has this cleat that's attached. Now this cleat is the same thickness as your shim material. Most of your lumber, at least here in the States, is about 13/16. And so that's what I use. It's already that thickness. And so I use that to make my shims. This plywood is 3/4 plywood, but we all know that that's going to be undersized. And so by doing that, this plywood is slightly floating. It's riding on this cleat and then the shim material. And with that, that really captures that piece. So in action, you can set this at whatever taper that you want. Like that. I've got a line here, and this is my most common shim size. It's about 1/4 inch. This board I cut about 8 inches long. Seems to be about the right size for most shimming tasks, right? And to set the height of the blade, I just make that to where it is slightly higher than this shim material, right? So right in there. And then of course you don't want to cut into your jig. So this is 6 1/4 wide. We'll set the fence right there at 6 1/4. Let's give this a go. Vacuum.
Now, these sizes work for me when I used to do a lot of cabinet and countertop installs, but you can make these any size you want. And of course, shims in the shop are hugely versatile. Beautiful tapered shims. Simply flip the board, lather, rinse, repeat.
Now this is maple, kind of hard, but makes excellent shims. You can see how consistent those are going to be. Super safe. I'm doing it one-handed. I don't even need to hold on to this guy. And you simply make a cut, flip it over, make a cut.
Over and over, as many as you want. So the wider the board, the better.
Right? A lot of different tapers. And I do have a line marked on mine right here, but this piece here is 2 7/8 wide. But what I did is I went ahead and cut into this piece a little bit. And by doing that, I know that my most popular shim size, all I have to do is set that cut flush with the main part of the jig, lock those knobs down, and I'm cutting that same size, no guesswork, it's always the same. So I've got sandpaper between these two pieces. Let me just pull this off to show you. Sandpaper here, sandpaper there, better gription, and that way it just really holds that in place.
And also holds the shim material.
Been using this for a number of years, like 20, maybe not the same jig. It's kind of evolved over the years, but fantastic way to cut shims, safe, quick, and easy. Thanks a ton. All right, a couple things. So this cleat, you can see it's held back. I did that for a couple of reasons. A, I wanted to make sure that sawdust wouldn't accumulate there. And two, it just happened to be that, you know, this size, and this is just some arbitrary size I came up with, 6 1/4. You could make that different width, I guess. But I didn't want that cleat to ride in this miter slot. So it's held back a little ways. Also, you'll notice that this stop, I've held it back, and I did that so you would have a good view of your shim material and make sure it's engaging with this stop, right? If it was underneath the main plate, you wouldn't see it. So that's why that's held back. I used a couple of screws here and just a couple of dots of glue just to tack this stop on. It could get cut if, for whatever reason, I just made it where it's replaceable, easily replaceable, yeah? And on the bottom, these T-nuts, these are just a 5/16 by 18 thread counterboard, so they're countersunk up inside there just a tad so it doesn't drag on the cast iron table. Right? Fantastic little dude right there. Thanks a ton for watching. Ciao.
I do have plans for this. I'll leave a link in the description. Yeah?